Hey, welcome. This is my first attempt at doing some practice questions to help you prepare for the Azure Administrator. I believe the current test is 103, but doesn't really matter what the current test is called because it's always going to be called Azure Administrator. And I picked 10 questions. I hope to have 10 more on the subject of VMs. So I'm hoping to have 20 questions for each category that Microsoft produces. And they'll be in 10 groups of 10. So 10 questions each time. That's the goal. Hopefully, yeah, so that's the goal. That's the plan. I guess it's all based on if people watch these, but and your feedback. But I think they'll be quite useful, and hopefully a little more entertaining, a little more enjoyable to go over questions, uh, with someone else like me. So just so you know, I did pass the exam, and the first time. So claps for me. But let's get started. Enough of this talk, and be 10 questions. And the way to go, I'll read the question, I'll answer it, and I'm doing even though I wrote the questions, so I should know the answers. I might get one wrong, but then at the end, I will go over each question and why the answer is the correct answer, and there'll be links to for each question. Well, the goal is for links to each question. Some questions might not require a link, but I have links for majority of the questions. So hopefully, this will not only help you prepare to pass exam, but also a learning experience and make you more useful in the job. Again, enough talking. So let's go. Let's get started with question number one. All right. Now I try to make these questions a little entertaining. So this should be your manager, typo. Your manager, Tom, asks you, there's a single Linux VM in resource group 5. I need 19 more VMs, all of which will be configured just like the VM that is there. So we need 19 VMs. 19 additional VMs are just like the Linux VM right here. I see in the VM blade, there's an automation script blade. Can I just click deploy? Okay, what the question is talking about is this export template blade. I know it's an automation, but they changed the portal GUI on a daily basis. It's now export templates, and you can do a deploy here, and it'll go ahead. You obviously got to change the name now, but you can deploy it and change your parameters. So that's what the question is sort of dealing with. So we go back. Can I just click deploy? Yes, you can, Tom. Tom, that'd be great, but no, are our two choices. And you'll see questions like this on the real exam. Usually they're yes, no. I just kind of made it a little more entertaining. And in general, if you don't know, I suggest you choose no. Because there can only be so many right ways to do something and lots of long ways. So again, if you don't know, choose no. But in this case, I believe that is the correct way to do it, so I'm going to say yes. All right. Moving on to question number 2. Pam, a recent new hire, comes to you in a panic and says, I deployed a storage account in the Web East resource group. I use an ARM template using the new Azure RM resource group deployment commandlets. Deployment finished, yay Pam, without errors, and even said it was successful. But the resource group is missing all the resources except for the storage accounts. Not sure why this occurred. I can see why Pam's in a panic, because she deleted everything that was in the resource group. The only thing left is the one thing she deployed with the storage accounts. So, if you're not sure what an ARM template is, a little what's that called? A little plug here. I do have some videos on ARM templates. going from starting at the real basic level, and I plan on publishing at an intermediate level soon. But anyway, our question, Pam used the replace parameter with the new Azure RM resource group deployments. Could be. Pam used the complete parameter. The template Pam created contained the parameter value of replace. Well, my understanding of deploying ARM templates, there's two options you could use on this commandlet. They are incremental and complete. Incremental adds to, but I'm going to go with complete. Let's see what happens. All right, question number 3. Let me see. All right. This one might be a little hurried. I got a meeting in 2 minutes. So I'm going to have to pause the video. But anyway, I think we get to number 3. Too much talking. You have been asked to reduce the cost of the computing costs in Azure. What I'm saying here, a lot of times even everyone gets asked this if they work in Azure. Someone in management says, they look at the bill. It's costing us $600,000 this month. Can we get that down to $500,000? So you look for things you could downsize, get rid of, a little cleanup. So anyway, so you find a VM that is currently at D4, V3, so it's a pretty big VM. It has 2 CPUs, storage type of premium, number of data disks is 6, and it has a public IP address. You say, look, our company standard is this one, which is going to be, I'd say, third. It would be 2/3 the cost to a half, so it'll be less money. But when you try to do that, it fails. Why? You have to. So, what are the choices? You have to deallocate the VM first before you resize it. The number of CPUs is not compatible with the new size. The new size does not support a public IP address. The new size only supports standard disks. The new size does not support 6 data disks. Well, looking at this, you know it's not CPU because you're going from more to less. So that can't be that. One possibility is storage or premium. But normally, if it has the word S in there, it supports premium disks. Public IP address, without looking up, I'm pretty sure just about everything supports public IP addresses. So, and a VM does not have to be turned off to resize it. In fact, I'm not sure if you can resize a VM that's turned off. So, that leaves us with the new size does not support 6 data disks. So I'm going to go with that answer. All right, so I'm going to pause the video for now, and we'll come back to answer 4. Okay, going on to question number 4. You work at Mach 5 Motors. Mach 5 Motors has 2 subscriptions, subscription 1 and subscription 2. Each subscription has a unique tenant/directory. There's a VM named RacerX in Resource Group 1, which is in subscription 1. You try to move RacerX from Resource Group 1 to Resource Group 1 subscription 2. So we're trying to move a VM from one subscription to another subscription in a different directory/tenant. However, you get an error message. I would think so. What was the cause of this message? All right, we've got 6 choices. So the VM you're moving is a Generation 1 VM. The VM you're moving is a classic VM. The descriptions are in different tenants directories. I like the sound of that one. The VMs have managed disks. Destination Resource Group is a different subscription. And the VM was not stopped. All answers could be valid reasons. While this is true, this overrides it. So you're always going to look for the best answer. So I'm going to go with, I really should pause and let you guys think. So I'll start doing that with number 5. Sorry about that. The subscriptions are in different tenants/directories. All right, hopefully you're hitting pause in the video to decide, but I'll give a slight pause. Maybe something like 20, 30 seconds. All right. You work at Mach 1 Motors, home of the Mach 5 racing car driven by Speed Racer. Mach 1 Motors uses Azure. Mach 1 Motors has two virtual networks, 24 Windows and Linux VM servers, and 3 general purpose storage accounts. Pops Racer, the lead designer engineer, asked you to create a monitoring solution that will enable him to query all diagnostic and telemetry data created by the mentioned Azure resources. Now, as you're reading this question, in my thoughts, don't mean to sound mean, but an answer should be popping in your head if you're ready for the exam. This is a pretty straightforward question. So, enable network monitor watcher. I don't think so. Install the Microsoft monitoring agent. The question doesn't really have anything to do with network, but maybe it's a monitoring thing. So, create a log analytics workspace or create application insight dashboard. All of these are pretty good, but only one of these allows you to do queries. So I'm going to wait 10 seconds. 5 seconds. All right, it's just about been 10 seconds. And the answer I'm going to pick is create a log analytics workspace. I don't have videos on that yet, but I take that back. I do have that in one of my monitoring videos, a very brief overview of log analytics. But definitely could create some and plan on doing it this year. All right, number 6. You're setting up a new VM for a new point of sale software the company you work for recently purchased. When you deploy the VM, you would like to automatically include the point of sale software and all the necessary settings for it to run. So basically, you want to deploy the VM and have the software automatically on there as well. So you create a custom script. You test the script you create by running it in a local environment. You test the script and it runs without any errors. Excellent. You can then copy the script and all of its dependencies to a blob storage account. When you deploy the VM now, the script is failing. Is the script taking too long to time out? Better ask Pam. Pam, I don't think I had enough questions about Pam yet. I think we only had one. But Pam, you'll learn to love or hate, and she's an employee who asks you a lot of questions. So it's a joke. You should ask Pam because she's always coming to you asking questions. You need to add an entry in the NSG, Network Security Group. You need to deploy the Azure proxy service. Well, this sounds like a cool answer. It's not the right one. All right, so I'm going to wait again 10 seconds, starting now. All right, it's been 5 seconds. 4, 3. All right, so what answer am I going to go with? Network Security Group. You're being blocked by a security rule. So an NSG or Network Security Group, it acts like a lot like a firewall. Not exactly a firewall, but you put rules in, usually giving a group of IPs or a single IP with a port. Pretty good. All right, so Pam is back. She was asked by Tom to add an additional public IP address to a VM. You tell her from the VM's networking blade, attach a new network interface. That's what you tell her to do. So, question is, it's really another yes, no. But did you give the correct info to Pam? That would be the yes. Will Pam be coming back to you, meaning you gave her the wrong answer? You gave Pam the wrong answer. All right. Well, Pam is back because you gave her the wrong answer. So this probably shouldn't say Pam is back. But anyway, Pam is back. She was asked by Tom to add additional public IP versions to VM. You tell her for the network interface IP Richard Blake, click add. So you're telling her something different now. So so the question is, are you giving Pam a hard time and want her to come back again? Or did you give her the correct info this time? This time you gave her the correct info. All right. Next, 2 more to go. Your manager, Tom, asks you, there's a single Linux VM in Resource Group 5. I need 19 more of the VMs, all of which would be configured just like the VM that is there. Tom also says, I read about policies last night. Can I, from Resource Group 5 Policies Blade, can I create the other 19 VMs? Well, while you can't in the real exam go backwards, generally speaking, you can see Tom asked us that up here earlier. I think it was the very first question, yes. They told him the answer was automation script blade. That was correct. So you probably shouldn't answer both of them as yes. And so I'm going to go with no. All right, it's Pam again. This time she comes to you and says, Kim from accounting is attempting to RDP to a VM, remote desktop protocol. You may know what port that is. Give you a second to think about it. Did some troubleshooting and reset the RDP configuration, but I was told by Tom, our boss, to just redeploy the VM using PowerShell. Well, RDP port 3389. I'm not sure which commandlet to use. You are getting a little tired of Pam, but you find Kim attractive. So you tell Pam. So you want to help Kim out. So you give her the right, this time you give Pam the right answer. And all these sound pretty good. Update, new. Well, new is probably not good because that'll give you a brand new one. Option 4 is not right. That's probably a problem in my, I just made a mistake there. So I'm going to go with set. Set is a good answer. So, I said that kind of quick. I should let you think. So, but set's the right answer. Hopefully, we got all our answers. We got all the questions answered. So let's click our submit and see how we did. Thanks. So we'll say view results. We got 9 out of 9. I thought there was 9 questions. One of them must not have a point assigned. But anyway, let's look at them each. Here, going the first one. You know, this is the one where our manager asked us, we need 19 more VMs, all of which will be configured just like the VM that is there. I see the VM blade. There's an automation script blade. And we got the correct answer. And it looks like we got a little description here. So yeah, so every deployment in Azure is described or created in a template in JSON format. You can access this code via the automation script blade, which we now know is called template, of the VM resource. You in most instances will need to change the parameters. You can also create your own template called an ARM template. I have 6 labs which walk through this. And then here is a link that we could click on. And you can see, kind of walk you through virtual machines, click export template, select download to download it. But in our example, we're saying for you to click on deploy. Docker, we go to the VM, we click on export templates. In our scenario, we're clicking on the word deploy. And this is where you could either change the parameters on the fly, or you could change them in here. This is the JSON. So pretty good, pretty good. What I'm going to think I'll do is I'll put these links in the description of the video. This way you can just click on them, as opposed to have to type them out. Just a drag. Pam, a recent new hire, comes to you in a panic. This is the one where she deploys stuff. They all disappear. So that correct answer was the complete parameter. And unfortunately, I don't have a link here. But there are only 2 parameters you can use. Incremental and complete. Let's see what we can find out real quick. we can find something real fast on the fly. Azure templates complete, and actually Azure power show complete versus incremental. See, it's smarter to pick something up. Deployment modes, that's what we want. Here we go. Complete mode. In complete mode, resource manager deletes resources that exist in the resource group but aren't specified in the template. That's exactly what Pam did. Incremental mode, resource manager leaves unchanged resources that exist in the resource group but aren't specified in the template. So I'm actually going to take this here. This is a good link. Go back to here. I'll keep that on my clipboard. Well, let me stick it in over here in a notepad so I can add it to the quiz. And I remember to add it to the description when I upload this video. All right, so moving right along. You have been asked to reduce the cost of the computing cost. This is one where we have to reduce the cost in Azure. We found this VM the size a little too large. We want to decrease this one, and our answer was support 6 data disks. The new size does not support 6 data disks, so only these. So let's click here on this link, and this link will tell you all about disk sizes. So might not answer the question directly, but if you read this, you get a general overview of how it all works. And just for your own knowledge, you cannot. Let's see, what can you not do here? You don't have to deallocate the VM first. CPU is not the problem. Everything supports just about public IP addresses. Yeah, so we're good. All right. So going to number 4. This is the one where you work at Mach 5. Oh, and you're moving a resource, maybe a VM, from one subscription to another subscription. And the answer is subscriptions are different tenants. So you cannot move the VM because they're in different tenants / directories. To move a resource from one subscription to a different subscription, they must be in the same tenant / directory. It is true you cannot move a VM from it if it has. It is true you cannot move a VM if it has managed disks. But it's not the best answer. The question does not say the VM has managed disks. And then here is a link you go to look at about moving resources. All right, number 5. Log analytics. It's clearly the correct answer. It's the only thing you can query. So that's about all there is to say about that one. 6. This is the one where you're creating a VM and you want to deploy the VM Azure resource and also the application that can be running on it. And it fails because you copy the script to a blob storage account. And the correct answer is a network security group. Yes, when you have a VM and it wants to access third-party resources like an Azure storage group, a GitHub, you need to add an entry in the network security group to allow that to happen. All right, question number 7. Pam is back, and this is when you want her to add a public IP address to the VM. You tell her from the VM's networking blade, attach a new network interface. And will Pam be back? You gave her the wrong answer. Yes. You like what Pam is wearing today because you gave her the wrong answer. That's funny, right? Because you want to see her again. Yes, you can configure more than one public or private IP address to a VM. In this case, you should add a second IP configuration. And here's a link that tells you exactly what you want to do. Creating a VM with multiple IP addresses. That gives you the core steps. How to add, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to go to this Docker VM, and we're trying to add. I'm doing this really ad hoc. The VM is stopped. Let's see if that stops us. But I think we want to go to configuration. No, networking. And I think we want to go here. IP configurations. Click here. And then see how save is shut off. We should have an add here though. We don't have an add. Yeah, there we go, add. So this is where we can add one. And you're seeing the correct answer. It's going to say something about IP configurations, the answer. And Pam is back. All right. Question number 8. Pam is back. And yes, you gave the correct info. This is, yeah, gave the wrong info here. Add network interface. Attach a new network interface. False. Correct answer, the same scenario is from network interface IP configuration blade. That's where you were. IP configuration blade. All right. 9. Tom asked you, there's a single VM in RG5. He needs 19 more of these VMs. Kenny goes to policies to do it. No, Tom. No. To deploy the 19 other VMs, you can create them one by one via the portal GUI. That's true. A lot of work. Create an ARM template to automate the process. That would be I think the best way to do it. Or if not so great with JSON and creating an ARM template, you could use the JSON already created by deployment of the first VM. That was the answer to the first question. This JSON is available from the automation blade, which we now know is called the deployment blade of the source VM. In this case, an Azure policy is a great way to enforce company policies, such as VMs can only be created in the East region or a certain size of VMs allowed. So you create policies that say, hey, if you only want VMs in the East, so someone tries to create one in Central US, that will not be allowed. And here's a link to telling you what is an Azure policy, the overview, and stuff. And oh, look, a little video. It's probably not as good as mine, though, but still pretty good video, I'm sure. All right, last question. It's Pam again, and this time the RDP question. So what do? You want to reset. Our boss just replied VM using PowerShell. You're getting a lot tired, Pam. You find this some trouble to reset RDP configuration, but I was told by Tom, our boss, to redeploy the VM using PowerShell. Yes. So what should you use? Well, the set command. Set Azure. Not real obvious by the name, but if you knew about the set command, and you come down to here, the set VM command makes a virtual machine generalized. Before you run this command, log in the virtual machine and use prisprep. But somewhere in here, I thought it said something about this very redeploy. Yes, so you want to use the set Azure RM VM with the redeploy option. In the case of this commandlet, manually redeploys the virtual machine to a different Azure host to fix any problems. If you redeploy a virtual machine, it restarts, results in loss of that drive data. So there you go. Answers should be crystal clear now. Redeploy. Yes, they could have made it easier, or I could have made it easier to put dash redeploy. And I guess I could put on all of them, but the whole idea is to get you to read some of these. Now you should really go and look at all these and look for examples like this, because this is what they'll. I deleted it. All right, I removed it. But these are the questions they ask. The answers to almost all their questions are always pretty obvious, like that. It's perfect. They just say it right here. All right. So I hope that was beneficial, and I hope you watch it, and I hope this makes you subscribe. But at the very least, I hope it helps you pass a test. So till our next one, I'll talk to you guys later.